chapters for N.R. Walker's Christmas wish list. Christmas wish list. God, you'd never know I was a voice talent, would you? The way that I enunciate. And thought I'd share with you the editing process. 4 more chapters. 3.5 chapters to edit. Kind of just wanted to get in the role of recording them all first and then editing them in sort of batches when I knew I couldn't record, because there's been a bit of loud construction noise lately in my studio, and also the daughter is being homeschooled because of the pandemic again. Just a little bit noisy. So when I can, I record as much as I can. Usually I like to do it in small chunks so I don't get burned out. Right, here we go. So I kissed there too. Keep doing that and you can take as long as you need. And warning, I think I'm in the middle of a sex scene. Yeah, as long as you need. I smiled as I kissed down his spine. I ran my hands over his shoulders, up his arms, down his... Yeah, this gets graphic from memory. Warning. For his ass. He responded to every touch of a woman. I wanted to remember the softness of a woman. So Cass was Cass, the American bloke. He was in a straight relationship, had a couple of kids, and then, started living his real life. Divorced his poor wife, and is now gay and is having his first romance with... He runs an Airbnb, runs a bed and breakfast in a house that he's renovated. It's a giant house. And now he's having a romantic fling with an Australian chef who he hired. And now they're about to bone. Or do some hand stuff, I can't remember. I wanted to remember every second, but some... He slipped his hand to the softness of a woman. I wanted to remember every second, but someone... He slipped his hand. Was he stroking him? Oh, God. Yeah. You're getting an abridged version of this because I'm editing it, so you're probably not going to be able to follow this. You get the gist. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to need you to... Alright, God. Yeah, I'm going to... You've got me so... You can take... You've got me so turned... You can take... You've got me so turned on, right? You can take your time. You can take your time right now. You can take your time next round. I need you inside me. I scraped my behind his ear. Inside me. I scraped ear. I like how you search. Then I gripped his hips and flipped him over. His shock and surprise to his. I want to kiss you, he gasped. Fuck. I planned to. Resting back on my knees, I took a... Giving myself... I poured more, then used my slick, then onto myself, then over his hole. Jaden spread his legs wider, lifted his hips. Jaden's the Aussie guy. Wider. Jaden spread over his hole. Jaden spread his legs wider, lifted his hips, giving me all access I needed. I pushed a finger into him. Then I pushed a finger in. But he shook another. No, baby. I need you in me. Baby. He called me baby. I leaned forward. Hot. He lifted... I think this is their second encounter. He lifted his knee. He lifted his knee. Hot. He lifted his... And it goes all the way. Clumsily, I positioned my cock and pushed in. He broke the kiss. He whined as I pushed in deeper, my shoulders. He felt everything about him right for me. I kissed him as I began me. I kissed him, a perfect. His leg beat. His legs went around me. I wanted to crawl inside him, to fill every part of him. I made love to him. He felt what I knew he felt. I knew he did. I gave him. His groans got deeper. more desperate, and his grip deeper, and his grip desperate, and his grip. The hold on my own was so close. God, Cass, I'm inside me. His wide eyes drew me in, and I saw in, and I saw orgasm. His eyes drew me in, and I saw the pleasure there as his orgasm. I felt this, and I thrust, and I thrust. I came. So I came. So hard, so I'd never so deep. I'd never felt pleasure like that. Sex had never been whole. I collapsed on so whole. I collapsed on him, whole. I collapsed on him, and he held me, clung to me, and without a word, my heart just shared. It took an age for my heart to stop hammering, though I think it now knocked on my ribs, though I think it stop hammering, though I think it stop hammering, though I think it now knocked on, though I think it now. So you can see very often I do retakes because I think I can, Hey, Coven. Because I feel like just perform it better. And what we just shared. It took an hammering, though I think it now knocked on my ribs for a different reason. For the man in my into. With a hiss, I pulled out of. He put his hand to before he kissed me. More? I'll experience right now. He chuckled and snuggled into my enveloped by me. I wrapped him up as tight as I could, asleep. And this time, when I needed to get up to pee and he snuggled to bed, and he snuggled him, and he snuggled bed, and he snuggled him his sleep. I ran my fingers through his hair, and I kissed it and out, and I kissed forehead. I wanted this. I want life. To have someone, a man life. To have someone life. To have with, to cuddle. To share things. I wanted it. With Jaden. Was it crazy? With Jaden. Was it crazy that I could? Yes, it absolutely was. But when he was lying in my arms, myself to care. And I didn't care when he pulled me into the shower at 5 wet kisses. It was the only wet kisses. It was the only rightful way to start a merry. It was the only rightful way. It was the only. He'd said with mischief eyes. I didn't care when he. I didn't care. I Mr. Contrell. I certainly did Contrell. I certainly didn't care when he made one. I care one bit. What I did care about was bubbling inside, making me. I couldn't stand it for a second longer. I was at the sink with my arm longer. I was at the sink with my arms in sudsy water, and he took the water, and he took the eggs out of the fridge. You're going to scrub the tap of the fridge. You're going to. He joked. I stopped and trying to catch my breath. My back. Cass, what is it? I turned to face him. It was face him. Sorry if this is very frustrating if you're actually trying to follow the story, but face him. I ain't got time for that. If you want to go to that link I put in the description, you can see all the collaborations N.R. Walker and I have done together. But it was now or never. Face him. And this one's usually once I send them to her, they're up into face him. Pretty quick. Face him. It was far too soon. It was crazy. But it was or never. Stay here. Stay here in heart or never. Stay here in Heartbridge. A bit of bloody tension there. Now or never. Stay here in Heartbridge. He blinked. What? I swallowed hard. Look, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't even know what this is. Feel things. He stared at me, then shook his head away. You want me here? Well, shit. Okay, well, I don't know. I just stared at the ceiling. Think that far ahead. That far ahead. I just head. I just stared at the ceiling with me, and I remembered you were leaving. And I realized this is crazy. Anything. Then it occurred to me, like a fool in slow motion, that maybe it didn't mean anything to him. He'd said from the very beginning that anything that happened for fun. Oh, for fun. Oh, the stab. Oh, I tried to get my pride took me by surprise. I tried to get my mouth to stand. Sorry, I'm out of practice. I should have read the signs. Reddy seems to like you. Jaden put his hand on my arm. You want to take it for me? Had I breathed at all in the last... I took a few deep... Sorry. Shrug. Few deep breaths. Sorry. The shrug. I had planned to go toward the coast for a place to live. This was starting to sound hopeful, but I hadn't considered He bit his lip, but I met his gaze. Jaden, I shouldn't have just blurted it out. Met his gaze. Admitting you. I met his gaze. Jaden, I shouldn't. I was about to. I'm sorry. He chuckled. It's nutty. He put his hand. Of course. Chapter 14. Okay, let me just put in... Just going to put in the gaps that are required. These are the standard lengths. Length that are required at the beginning and ending of chapters. Just sort of reuse them over and over again. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with rendering, because that takes a few minutes. So, on to chapter number bloody 15. Usually when I render, I do a quick stretch. Alright, chapter 15. Just give you a track so that you can hear me properly. Two. Whoopsies. This is how I get sound to you. Two. Chief 22, yes. Alright. So yeah, I use the L1 plus maximizer and the C1 comp gate. Compressor gate from Waves. In case you're curious. And yeah, what was I saying? Made this script for editing in Ableton because I use it for all my junk writing for musical stuff. And I didn't want to use a different program because Ableton's not traditionally used for editing voice or, you know, doing work like this. It's more for creative tasks, but I wrote this script so that I can use my mouse and the keypad, and I'm as fast as anyone at editing this audio now that I've been using this for years. So it's all just left, right clicks and just a few keys on the keypad, and I can do anything. Let's keep going. Mouse wheel zooms in and out. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. Jaden. Mum, he wanted us. Jaden. Dean. Let's get the timing right. Mum, he wants me to 15. Jaden. Mum, he wants me to. My mother got the phone. Honey, what will you do? Do you like the man? Yes, he's actually kind of great. The man? Yes, he's great. Do you love him? That I don't know. I think I could. One soon? I've known him for like 4 days. I feel 4 days. Mum, he's and off with him. It sounds like you know your answer. But I wasn't going to stay here. I don't know. But I wasn't going to stay here. There'll be no work here. When there's and you know what they say about mixing business with pleasure. Well, that hasn't worked. Wow. In the past. Wow. Gee, thanks, Mum. She sighed, asleep. Make a list, love, right out in front of you. I smiled at the list idea. Got my lists. I might do that. Sorry for waking you up. Speak to Dad. Okay, love, be good. Mr. You too. I smiled as I changed my shirt, power on it. I skipped back down the stairs and found. You ready? Yep, just like house. You ready? Yep, just like. Or to upstairs. He went and did that. Upstairs. He went and did that while I put my boots and coat on. When he came back, I asked, "You sure?" When he came back, I asked, "You sure you're I can stay if you'd." It's both leaving. I can stay if you'd prefer. And it's the only both leaving. I can stay prefer. No, it's fine. We won't be gone long. And it's fine. We won't be gone long. And it's only the Mosley. We walked out onto the deck. Mosley. We walked out onto the deck. Mosley. We walked out on Gunter and his dad. Casno. Yeah, he's a nice. Presty was. We climbed into the truck. Presty was. On the drive. Oh, did you bring your list? I took it out. Of course I did. Of course. It was like 3:30. Cass laughed. I bet. I told her you asked me to stay. He whipped his head around so fast I thought he might hurt himself. And what did she say? I grinned. Of course she could make a list. Of course she did. You get it from. Being organized isn't a bad thing, and neither is a list of pros and cons. And neither is a list of pros and cons. And neither is a list isn't a bad thing, and neither is a list of pros and cons thing, and neither is a list cons. Cast tutor bottom lips. Cast and what died? Well, you dick. He laughed. Don't forget the magic dick. He laughed. Magic? List. He grinned at me. I'm flattered. You should be. You should be. Do I want to know? I sighed. The list? I sighed. Well, you won't be needing me every week. That again. Do that again. He nodded slowly. Do that again. He nodded. Yeah. Slowly. Yeah. Slowly. Yeah. But that's true. But does the home market sell Vegemite? No. Why would it? I'm just kidding. I was never really a fan. That made me chuckle. Is it supposed to be that made him chuckle? What about a cinema? Does Hartbridge have a... I checked the book and it does say that made me chuckle, but it's probably supposed to be him. That made me chuckle. Fan. That made me chuckle. What about a cinema? That made me chuckle. What about cinema? Cass made a face. The theater shut down. The theater, no. The theater I think cable, go. I think cable TV and Netflix sealed its fate. I sighed. Well, I can't. He laughed. No. I held my hand before he realized what I was. Squeezed it. Hand holding is the list. We pulled up at Home Market and grabbed everything we needed. Rosie behind. Oh, Jaden. Right away. Oh, Jaden. Heard you say. Oh, Jaden. Heard you stepped in. That was such a shame he had to close today. Cass gulped. Cass gulped. Closed. Rosie nodded. He'd be shut tomorrow. He'd be shut tomorrow. Twisted his knee, apparently. That's terrible, I said, frowning. It's okay. He's never been shut in here. Rosie said, Say, how long are you in town for? I looked at her, then looked at Cass. I withheld a sigh. Oh. Right. Has someone been conspicuous? Has something like that. Cass's cheeks were red. Something like that. Cass's cheeks were red at me. Yeah, something me. Yeah, that. She laughed. Then I laughed. Then I suggest you give Carl a call. He's a stubborn old goat. He's a stubborn old goat. He's a Carl a call. He's a stubborn old goat. But he's laid up. But he's laid up for help. Cass took a box of chocolates from a nearby stand. Cass took a box of chocolates from a nearby stand. We'll take these too. We took our groceries. He was being way too wide. Don't say too wide. Don't say a word. He laughed. Don't say a word. He laughed. Not a peep. But when we drove off, he went the opposite way. Just out a way. Just a ways? He laughed. Yup. He slowed to a stop front window frame. Who lives here? Carl. What? Cass grinned. We got him some get-wells and deliver them. He climbed out. I can't believe you're doing this on the path. I can't believe you happened. He laughed and knocked on the door, and an older. Later. Mrs. Old, we've come to see, Cass said. We've come to see doing. Oh, you're so sweet, she replied. Come in, boys. Mrs. Olson, this is, Cass said. Oh, ignition. And you helped Krista close up. I nodded. I did. How's Carl? Nodded. I did. How's Carl? This way. She leading us through to the living room, replied. Leading us through to the living room, replied. Leading us through the living room. Carl was, his leg was, and even leg was propped up, and even through his lounge pants I could see his knee was, and even through his lounge heavily strapped. Both. We were just in town, Cass said. Rosie said you couldn't open today. Carl deflated. Nah, sad old day for might be shut next good. A few days. Supposed to. He looked up at days. He life. How am I? Mrs. Olson rolled her eyes at us. Like I haven't helped him. The kids won't eat. He grumped at that. He's a misery, Olson said. Cass handed him the chocolates, pair of them. Carl's face. Then he looked up at me. That's a lot coming from to impress her. It was no problem. You'd already done all that out okay. Cass nodded. It went out okay. Cass nodded, and he gave Carl a nod. About that, Carl. Is it supposed to be an Nope, there's no okay. Carl? Nod. About that, Carl. I nod. About that, Carl. Yep, but if you need someone to help at this, and he'll be finished up at my place, more than capable, and he'll be fine then. Carl was no fool. Is this some ploy? Cass laughed. You know he's capable. You'll still need to be there, probably, to tell him how you make it. Leg. He gave Carl that blind where to call. I was kinda dumbfounded, asking. I was leaning toward offended. This was just to the truck. Wanna tell me what all that was about? To the truck. Wanna tell me what all that? I asked. He grinned the engine. That was me taking care of your list. I think your con list only has now. I scoffed, shaking my head. I can't believe you just. He was. Look, unfazed. Look, in this town, out there. It's how things get done. What if I don't want to work at Carl's? He shot me a quick glance as he went. Oh, well, no. I sighed. Just say no. I sighed. Here. Cass kept his eyes ahead in his seat. I'm sorry. Strike while the iron's hot, you know? I'm sorry, I should have asked. Well, the thing was, but he wanted the thing was, I should have been. Should have been, but he wanted me to should have been, but and I wanted to stay, and I wanted to not sure for how long, but I've commitment. Commitment. And he clearly felt bad and commitment. And he clearly felt bad. I kept forgetting. Guess you'll just have to make it up to me. He risked a glance at me. In the mood. Guess you'll just have to make. He risked a glance. Magic dick. His eyes went. Dick. His eye. Oh, right. Or maybe we should see what kind of dick suck skills you have. He went red from his hairline. Coat color. Oh, you've never? Shook his head and I laughed. Well, my dear man. Well, my. You're gonna suck my dick. I found that amusing. Well, you've never sucked dick? Well, you're gonna get some practice. I guess you could just say that to a dude. He shook his head and I laughed. Well, my dear man, you're going to get some practice tonight. Fair night. Christmas Eve dinner was a lovely affair. Cass put out more table decoration for each couple. Tiny pots of locally produced, the Baileys and the Gatzas was personal touch. Dinner was prime rib with mashed bread. My gingerbread prize. Though prize, much to Cass's surprise, was a hit. Much to Cass's surprise, though there was still apple pie. What is that? Much to Cass was a hit with caramel sauce for dessert was a hit, though there who wanted it. Christmas music played in the background, and later on, the fire I served some night. Perfect. It was perfect. It was to be perfect night. I wanted it to be perfect. It was perfect. It was. I kept two full plates aside. When it was all over, and ate out and encounter and ate us. Just us, hidden away from him to mind. Keeping him busy all afternoon was a great distraction from missing the kids. He did call them, and his smile. It can't have been easy for him, but he put on a brave face could want. Last year, when he wasn't busy, must have been awful. I was alone last Christmas too, before that. But it didn't compare to a parent not hanging. My heart hurt. I never wanted it again. Even now, there was a hint of sadness to make better. You got through your first. Thanks to you. Team. You should give your toe. He raised credit too. He raised his wine glass and waited for me to it. Merry Christmas, Jaden. Merry Christmas, he said. Merry Christmas, Cass. This food is... No. No. Thank you. No. You talking to me? What'd you say? Ice pack? Oh. Just a minute. Oh, good girl.
I need to do seesaw.
Good girl. Want to say hello to everybody?
Hello.
Right here.
Hello.
You bring it. Yeah, but still, you took it. I don't know, not in your. Lina, where did you put it?
Dad.
I know after you hold it. I know. Like, what did you put?
Oh, try on a bed.
Lila's bed?
Yeah. I think I might have put it there. You got it? Yeah, I think I put it there.
Let's check the seesaw.
Whoopsie doodle. When Leela finished her classes this morning, I took the iPad and put it on her bed and forgot about it. Now she's got to do seesaw lessons, which is pre-recorded lessons. What a world! Thank you. No, thank you. Amazing. Thank you. No, thank from me, mostly from me. I chuckled. Anything in particular? Anything in He shoved. Oh yeah. Well, what is it? He stabbed it last night? Oh, don't get me wrong, that was shrugged. Like it's something day? Well, that's my favorite. It's made my favorite. His word? You're such a romantic. He laughed. He laughed. I am. Laughed. I am. Laughed. I am. Laughed. I am. Dreamer. He looked her. Always have been a dreamer. Always have been a dreamer. Oh, first one. He looked around the. Yeah. Always have been a dreamer. Always have been a dreamer. Been a dreamer. He looked around the kitchen. Maybe that's why Maybe that. Inside. Maybe that's why. You turned your place. You turned your dream into a reality. His eyes cut. Chapter 15. Going to the Jaden toilet. I was going to let it play, but no, this is copyrighted material. So, I guess I'll just be right back. I need to make a be right back sign, don't I? Oh yeah, I need to go, and there's still a long way to go. God, these are long chapters. Hey, this is what I'll do. I got an idea. It's gonna. God. There's the be right back image. How about that? Whoop, 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 whoop. And what you're looking at is Mount Shan, the view out my office window, which makes work a lot more enjoyable. Very overcast, shitty day, weather-wise. Now, let's fix this back up. Alright, looks a little nicer. Okay. Back to work. He looked around the kitchen and sighed. Maybe that's why I took on this plan. You turned your dream into a reality. His eyes cut to mine. Not all of them. Mine. Not all of them. The air was, oh yeah? What's left? To share it with, left. Someone. I felt, and my ribs all over, and my ribs were 2 sizes too small. Oh, small. Oh, Cass smiled. Cass smiled at his plate. One day, God, I wanted to say, yes, please. I wanted to say, one day starting now, but I really felt it. I really felt in over my head. One day, I whispered. He gave, but I really, wow, but I really felt in over my head. One day, I whispered. He gave a guarded look. When he's ready. Why wasn't ready? 1,000 now. 1,000 thoughts ready now. 1,000 thoughts. I want that leap. How's that list coming along? He asked. I put my plate aside instead. It's, maybe you should do, so maybe you do the paper yet. I chuckled. It wasn't real mine. And if it was a wish list, that is, and if it was a Christmas onto mine, and if, what would be the list, that is, what would be the, I couldn't look away. I can't tell you, true. He almost smiled. I won't tell Santa. Well, he burst out laughing. It can go on both. It's mutually benefiting us both. Right. And then after that, for the betterment of all humanity, very honorable, I jumped down, stopped me. I'll clean up tonight. You've done enough. This is my job. He made a face and slowly slid down from the counter. And instead, are you job? Are you firing me? His eyes, no! A long breath. But would having dinner? Depends. You like work? Depends. On what? What you expect me to cook? Cook me dinner? Then I absolutely would. And what if it's not my, cooking is not my strong suit. And what if we made it, I do all the cooking, I do all the cleaning up afterwards. And cooking, I do all the cleaning up afterwards. And the magic dicking, and the magic afterwards. And the magic dick, he smiled. And that. He smiled. And that. And you will he raised his guard of fellatio. He raised his hands like a scout. I will do my best. Starting tonight. Absolutely. I put my, I'm just joking. Absolutely. I put my hand to his chest. I'm just joking about that. You don't have to do it. He cleared his throat. I think it's something I would definitely. He cleared his throat. To do and to do and maybe have done. Oh, have you ever had a guy do? He shook his head at you. He shook his head. No. Embarrassed laugh. No. I held up. There 2 fingers. There will be 2 lessons tonight. He laughed. My hands went to his hips. 2 lessons tonight. There will be 2 lessons. I held up 2 fingers. There will be 2. He laughed. He laughed tonight. He laughed and put his forehead on my shoulder. My hands, his warm, his whole, his strength, his whole body felt so right. Strength, his whole right. Like something slotting into place. No, but this, at least something. Whatever it was between us was something. My mother's, "Do you love him?" echoed in my mind. "Do you love him?" My mother's voice echoed in my mind. "Suck his cock, son." "Do you love him?" In my mind. "Do you love him?" Shit, I have... Call my mum. Cass chuckled and pulled away. Call my mum. Okay. Go do that. I'll wash up these last few things. Pulled away. Go do that. Then he smirked. Maybe you should start. He won't be the only one tonight. He won't be the only one. Yeah, that's it. Only one. Yeah, that's it. Cut to oral sex, said with a groan. I was lying on the bed, still in action. Apparently Cass liked that because as little as he wanted. At first, he'd fisted my erection. I told him to, but without further prop me into his mouth. It took all of my self-control. It took not me into his mouth. It took all of my self-throat. Warning, warning! His throat. He wasn't up for deep-throating, but he gripped the belt on my balls. Fuck, I hissed. Cass, fuck, I hissed. Cass. He pulled off. I liked swollen and wet. Hot. You're gonna make me come. So when I soon, you're gonna make me come. You're gonna hot. So when I come soon. So when I say pull off, okay? He nodded and went like the devil, and went after a few smiling like the devil, and went back to torturing me. After a few, all it took. Cass, gonna come. He pulled off, and he kept my belly. Every drop. The room spun, and I lost all sight and sound until his warm laughter rumbled on my spun, and I think I found fucking hell. Get your dick up, fucking hell. Fucking hell. I groaned. Fucking hell. Get your dick up, he groaned. Fucking my turn. He was clearly but I shuffled up to by my words, but I shuffled up to lean against the headboard. Straddle my chest, I said. He was wearing nothing but brief and let his cock out. I gave him a few. Oh yeah. I looked up to find him staring, then guided his hips to feed his cock onto tongue, then my tongue. Jaden, he cried, then out. I pulled his hips back, then got the hint. Then I could use my head thrust. He didn't last, and when he crumpled in his chest. Let me know his chest. Let me know when you're good for round 2. I wasn't going to have you in my ass tonight, but now, too. I want it. He groaned out a... You still. I laughed. You're in charge? Because I am. I laughed. Because I am. He pulled my leg over. Then he pressed his toward him. Then shoulder. We'll see about that. Holy hot. 10 minutes later, he had me begging. That was hot. 10 minutes later, he had me... I wanted to feel him teasing me. I wanted to feel him fill the condom. What have I done? I wanted every inch of him to the hilt. I wanted to feel him feel. I wanted to feel the hilt. I wanted to feel him fill the condom. If that was deep in me. If that was on my Christmas wish list, I got every single thing I wanted. Ooh-wee! Let's get those pauses in there. There I am. 2. Let's group these together. 2. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Okay. 2. Chapter 16. Cass. Cass. Christmas morning was a buzz. Everyone was... So as you can hear, it alternates between characters. A buzz. Everyone was most excited, but ultimately, they wanted a quick breakfast before heading off to spend the entire day with their... They wanted a quick breakfast before... Ultimately, they wanted a quick breakfast before heading off to... That's families. That suited me fine. I could do with some quiet, private time with Jaden. I could do with some quiet with fine. I could do with not to do anything sexual, but I just want with him. I want to hold him and kiss him stable. If then I'd be heartbroken. I'd known, but at least I would have had something. I'd know then what was possible. I'd know then what was something. I'd know then what was possible. Christmas morning without my kid, what was possible? Christmas morning without my kids was also hard. Sleep. Birthdays were hard to miss. It hurt. Jaden came into the kitchen carrying the 2 empty... It hurt. Jaden came into the kiss jugs. The Nicholsons are just about to leave for the day. They'll be back sometime. They'll be back sometime around the day. They'll be back around 10 tonight. Mrs. Nicholson's sons. Yeah, thanks. He came to... You okay? I shook my head. I miss my kids. He rubbed my... Frown. My kids. He rubbed... Oh, I'm sorry. It must be hard. Sorry. It must be hard. I took a deep... Slowly. Christmas... Can you call them? Yeah, but it's not the same. I'm getting them for two days. Tomorrow. For 2 days. Same as today, but it's about tomorrow. For 2 days, which... It's not the same in Kendra. He smiled, but there was some... I like that don't. It then occurred to look. 2 days. His last days here. Hey, he's here. Hey, I forgot to mention that I'd... You don't need to tell me. You don't... Leaving. I think I struggled with this passage because it had to be... You were leaving. You don't need to tell me. They could be here full time and it wouldn't... They're your kids, Cass. They could be here... Kids, Cass. They could be here full time and it wouldn't make a difference. You don't need to tell me, he said quickly. They're your kids. A difference. It wouldn't make a difference. Oh, yeah, I guess. Still leaving, regardless. I redo all this, I remember. You don't need to tell me, he said quickly. They're your kids, Cass. They could be here... Oh, wouldn't make a difference. You don't need to tell me, he said quickly. Or you were leaving, You don't need to tell me, he said quickly. Make a difference. It wouldn't make a difference. Leaving regardless. Oh, yeah, I get that. You know what? That's okay. He tilted his head. What? I squinted. What? I wanted to turn. What? Should that be what or what? Yeah, let's just redo that quickly. I turned that off, didn't I? Chew, chew. What? No. Yeah, no, that was right. What? Dipshit. What? What? Let's see if that matches a little better. Squinted. What? What? To turn and squinted. What? I wanted to turn and run. I wanted to disappear and head and squinted. What? I wanted to turn and run. What? I wanted to turn from the world. This day had just gotten so much worse. He was leaving, and he told me today of all days. Leaving, and he told me today of... I took a step to Via's lead. You know, I think I left him... Cass. I shook my head. It's fine. Explain your step. Cass, don't walk away. What? It's not a good day for... Carter, no. He strode over. Carter, no. He strode over the kitchen. Not roughly, gentle. He had eyes. You want to tell me what conclusions you just jumped to? Or having missed a whole conversation? Because I think we missed a whole conversation. Or we were having a different first conversation. Or we were having a different conversation? What happened? My kids come first. My chest, I said. My chest. My chong, I said. My chest felt all and cold. I never made a point to. Why do you to? Problem for me? Because you said it wouldn't have... Because you said it... Because you... Because thing. If they were here full time. I mean, what if I did have my... Would you have even looked twice at my kids full time, Jaden? What then? Would you have even looked twice at me? He squinted again each time. Christ, Cass, I said it didn't matter. Doesn't. You have kids, and that makes you... Whether you have them on weekend... Whether you have them on week deal... Whether you have them on weekends deal, whether you have them on package deal, whether you have them on weekends or package deal, whether you have them on week time or whatever. For fuck's sake, what kind of person would have kids? I opened my mouth to enter. Oh my god, did you think I was that shallow? No, of course. He sighed. He sighed, half turning away from... You said... He sighed, air. I'm trying to get that. He put his hand to my face. And you didn't say that because you think poorly of me. My eyes met him. You said it because you think poorly of you. My eyes met his, but I couldn't get any words out. Is that right? Any words out. Poorly of you. But I couldn't get you. My eyes met him. He swiped his thumb along my jaw. You deserve to be happy. But it's okay to move on. Don't feel on. Don't feel bad. You're a lad, Cass. You don't have to be happy. You don't have to live in marriage. I swallowed down the throat. You're a great for you. Lots of kids live for you. Lots of kids live with separated household. So you get your kids tomorrow. And you with them. Do all the fun things, play games, they'll remember. My eyes watered, and my nose burned. I nodded. Thank you. With both his hands cupping my face. He kissed me, sweetly. Then rested his forehead on mine. Then rested it good one. Then head on mine. You're a good one, Cass. Cass. I couldn't speak one, Cass. I couldn't speak for a while. I just needed a second to breathe and to feel him close. Kind of close. I needed and he days, and he was and more. You called me Carter when you were... He smiled. It just rolls out at me. He smiled. It just smiled. It just smiled. It just I sighed, sad. I'm sorry, yes. The kids... I mean, I work from home, so this life will be back to normal, and this week... Back to normal, and this week with dream. This week has a dream. This week has been a dream. And I'm glad I decided... after today. He smiled. I haven't decided if I'm staying. I haven't decided not. And Carl hasn't officially offered me any... My Christmas if I can. My Christmas list of pros and cons is still a work in progress. I wasn't sure what I could say. Progress. I about that. Then he sighed. Counter. You okay, Cass? I know today's days. I know today for you. I know today for you. I chewed on my bottom lip. Give him that. I'll be okay. Do you need a hug? I laughed. A hug? I laughed, ignoring the burn of a hug. I remember at this point I was stopping and starting because of all the hammering in our tower at the time. Behind my eyes, I would love a hug. He pulled me against him. The tent as I held him around me, as I held him in the tension body. It wasn't even the human left my body. It was him. It was Jaden. His strength. We stood like that in each other in. I pulled back and put my hand to his face, eyes. He seemed to be a clue. The truth? Something, oh? You wanted time. You can stay here for another week or if that was worrying. I just don't have to leave if that's what that was worrying. 2 days, if that was worrying you. You can stay 2 days, if that was worrying you. You can stay here, whatever. He smiled, house. At first I'd wondered house. At first I'd wondered if one of the car. Andra's car. Are you expecting them? Jaden asked. I shook my head, Jaden asked. I shook my head and went. Jaden didn't follow, obviously, give him privacy. I got as far as the back deck. Daddy! I collected the steps. Daddy! Merry crazy hug. Merry Christmas! Much. They both started to talk, telling me what gifts they got and what Santa. Good to see them. Kendra walked. They were smiling. They were dressed so early to see my K. I gave her a hug. I gave her a hug too. My heart a hug too. My heart a hug too. My heart full. Always full. Always full. Always. Actually, kids on the head. Who wants their Christmas early? Me! Sighed. Hold on, wait for us, I said. Kendra. I gave them their gift. I made some fresh coffee for you. Oh, thank you for you. Oh, thank you. 5. The joy of little kids on Christmas morning. I thought Jiggle sofa. Show me what you got. Sofa. Show me what you got. And Charlotte and Wyatt, and Charlotte and little thing. Kendra and I went into the kitchen. I asked her one. Thank you for bringing them here, thinking of me. I know. They miss you. They miss you. They wanted to see you too. They miss you too. She looked around. No guests here at the moment? No, how's it all gone this week? But I've learned a lot, and seeing what Jaden, and I know I won't be offering full catering all the time, but show all the time, but seeing what Jaden does is way to go.
He seems... The kids like him.
I smiled. Yeah, Kendra studied her in seconds.
So, he seems really nice.
Oh, dear God. Be her that. He is. He's kinda great. She was quiet for...
You like him.
Smiling at me.
You like him.
I laughed, embarrassed. I do. Guilty. I do.
I can tell. I don't think I've ever seen you blush before, Cass. With that.
I laughed. I don't know. It's new, and it's horrifying. She chuckled, and we could hear Jaden in the room. I've asked him to stay. Whisper. He was supposed to move on, and it's probably weird to hear. I shook. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. We were always friends. Childbirth talk, yeah?
I nodded, blinking back tears. I took a deep breath. Yeah, thank you. She sipped her coffee.
And you never blushed for me.
Out a laugh. Sorry?
When you were around him.
I nodded.
I'm happy.
Quietly.
A little happy for you.
That was fair.
But a little sad and a little jealous, but mostly, I'm happy for you.
That was fair. Really honest. Thank you.
I might be...
Thank you.
I might be seeing someone,
she said. My gaze went to her.
It's only new, like him.
Do I know him?
It's Trey.
He was 2 years above us, and she nodded.
He lives out on Red Cedar. Kids.
God.
Kids.
God. Hard. What did she say it was? But what could I say? The guy I'd met and had feelings for was in the sits. I'm happy for you, Kendra. A little sad and a little jealous. Happy. She chuckled and happy. She chuckled.
Why was I so nervous about telling you?
I studied.
Telling you.
I studied my coffee cup. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. Coffee cup. It's been 2 years. You should do what makes you happy. As long as I'll support you. Kendra smiled at me.
You're a good man.
Coffee.
So...
Who? Kendra asked. Who?
Jaden, silly.
I don't know. I hope.
Silly?
I don't know. Just then.
Mom, can I play...
Kitchen.
Mom, can I play pool with Jaden?
Jaden appeared after him. I'm really bad at it, so it'll only be a... Ask. Kendra grinned.
Sure.
By the time Wyatt, another car arrived. This time arrived. This hurts. Jaden got me a bewildered look.
Are they here for lunch? Did you know they were coming?
I had no idea. I had the kids. There's leftover. He put his hand up. He put his forehead.
God, I can't serve them leftovers.
I squeezed his shoulder.
You have to feed people, he said.
It's what you do. Kendra laughed. Mom and Dad came in, pulling off coat sitting room. The kids, and then they had gifts. It was probably a good 10 minutes before they'd even stop. Mom and Dad. Yes, of course.
Oh yeah,
Mom added.
We missed you at the tree lighting to help.
Mom added.
We missed you at the diner. We hurt his knee.
Needs to take it. Needs to take it easy, Dad said. He's too. I shot Jaden.
Oh, Kendra, darling, Mom said. I didn't realize you'd be here. What? Oh, Kendra, darling, Mom said. It's so nice to see you. Oh,
Smile.
Oh, it's so nice. Oh,
Mom said.
It's so darling,
Mom said.
It's so... What a wonderful surprise.
Her tone was totally implying that maybe Kendra had stayed here last night. Kendra glanced at me, then smiled at...
Oh, yeah, the kids wanted to see Cass, but we have to see you again. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, what a nice thing. Oh, yes, what an... Again. Oh, you illiterate. Mrs. Campion. Mrs. Campion. Mrs. Campion.
Jaden said. Jaden said.
Mrs. Campion.
Jaden said.
Campion.
Jaden said.
Will you be staying? Oh, no. Be necessary.
Well, Dad hedged. Cass did. Dad hedged. Cass did say those chicken puff things hedged. Cass did say those hedged. Cass and the steak with crust. He looked at me. It was a herb crust. Dad nodded. Actually, Cass. Jaden's eyes grew good. Jaden's eyes grew wider. He turned to me.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those days where I forget to eat lunch.
Ham.
That's for our guest.
Ham.
That's for our guests tomorrow.
The ham.
That's for our guests. Explained. Tomorrow.
Well, I have to do.
We have a fridge full of leftovers. Jaden, horrified, put his hand to his heart. I will not serve your parents' leftovers. Kendra laughed. Leftovers. Jaden, horrified. I will not leftovers. Hand to his heart. Kendra laughed.
Okay, kids.
Then Kendra put, good luck.
Oh, and honestly,
Then she,
you need to stay.
then she leaned,
To stay.
then she leaned,
Oh, and honestly, Oh, and honestly, you need to stay.
then she leaned,
Oh, and honestly, you need to stay.
then she,
You need to stay.
then she leaned in and whispered, but Kendra just leaned up to me, leaned up on my cheek.
Have a great day.
Cheek.
Have a great day. See you in the morning.
I helped the kids into the car.
Have a great day. See you in the morning.
I helped the kids too long, and
Nope. Ask him.
she said with a grin.
Kids, wait, Daddy.
I waved as they drove away. He was in the kitchen, and he was fluttered about something. Hey, fridge. Hey, said. He stood up, holding it with foil. Leftovers, Zada. I took the tray from him and kissed him until anymore. Then I walked out with a smile. Christmas lunch. Mom and Dad, they'd known it was going to be a hard. Well, they knew all. Well, they didn't expect it. They didn't expect it. They knew all the guests would be out for the day, but they clearly didn't expect Jaden to be. Well, they didn't expect it. After lunch, when I walked them to their car,
He's a
say something. Say something.
He's a nice boy.
Mom said. He is.
He
Burnt red. He is.
is he.
I
caught you looking at. And I know. I caught you looking at him. About you. I caught you never really looking at him. And I know we never really talked about you being gay. We never really had to before because there was never anyone.
I asked him, Dad.
Anyone.
I asked him to stay, he said. It wasn't exact somewhere. I mean, stay, as it will yet. That makes me happy. He sure knows how to cook, Dad's belly.
And the kids?
The kids, Mom asked. The kids love him. I love him. I didn't him. I love him. I didn't tell the kid, obviously. There's nothing official. Didn't tell the kids about us. There's nothing official. I will. It won't be easy, Mom, but it's a part of my truth. We raised them right. Mom nodded and
I know. I just worry.
It'd make me happier if we got out of the It'd make me happier if we got out of the cold of the car. See you tomorrow. Car. See you tomorrow at home. Bring Jay over the roof of the car. See you tomorrow. He tapped the roof. Get in the car, Get in the car, Catherine. Get in the car, Catherine. It's cold. Get in the car. Drive, I said. And Jaden. He tapped the roof.
Get in the car, Catherine. It's cold.
Drive safe. Christmas. I watched their car disappear down the inside. Jaden was picking up the coffee cup. Hey, the coffee table. Hey, I said, coffee table. Keeping his hand and began close. What's this? It's been almost. This. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Dancing. This. Christmas Day dancing room. What's this? Christmas Day dance of his head. Something to add. He chuckled. Shouldn't there be music playing? I pulled him a little. Nope. He smiled into my neck, and we danced to something. Your dad's funny, he said. I don't think your mum likes me. Yes, she does. And the kids. He stopped. Lunch, breakfast, Lad's house. Breakfast is your last official meal to do. Off duty. I laughed softly. You don't have to come with us. They often understand. It is a lot. I couldn't help but chuckle again. Just out of interest. House beyond. Undecided. I laughed. That reminds me. Say to you. He froze in time. Oh, that was nothing. In time. Oh, that was nothing. It doesn't sound like nothing. He made a face. How long have we got? He took my arm. See my watch. Shouldn't we be using this time at watch? Should soon. I took his hand and raised it above his head. Then I pulled. He craned his neck. He breathed. That's real access. That's really distracting. Good. His neck. This is what I want. To dance with a guy in your... Down his neck. This is what I want. On his neck. This is what I want. To dance with a guy. Not just any guy, I murmured. Then I spun him around. You. He grabbed my face and brought our mouths together in a bruising kiss. He fell on top of me until he stopped. He broke the kiss, keeping his face close, like he was in pain. Jaden? You scare... I had to think... You scare me. I had to think about what he... What? You scare me. This scares me. I ran my face. Look at me. He did. What about this you? I want to stay. What I feel... I don't know me, Cass. You know? And then fucking terrorize me. That was a lot to me. To unpack. Why is it terrifying? He squinted and... Because I think I feel the same. A slow smile to his face. You do? He groaned and climbed off me, slumping onto with me. Of course it does. Everything changes, doesn't it? A fling? A fling? A fling? Well, fling? A fling? Well, I don't know what else to call it. It feels like some crazy fling. A fling? Well, I don't know what else to call it. Out of control. Honest. Or also like I could puke. I laughed. He groaned. Ass. One, I don't know. One, I can't believe Kendra said that. Two, real talk. One, I can't that. But two, I don't know. Because I am. I don't care about what anybody, but I don't care. I care about us. And baby, you're worth it. I don't need a Christmas pros and cons list to that. He leaned his head on the back of the couch and stared at me. You think you... I nodded. Yeah, perfect. His smile... God, this is crazy. I drew my... God, this is buried his face. I drew my fingers. So I pulled him. It is crazy. But you know what?
We don't. Is that really how I did that?
God, this is crazy. God, this is crazy.
Bizarre and strangely compelling, Jobu.
Hands. God, this is crazy. I drew my fingers through. Crazy. God, this is crazy.
Thought I did that again.
God, it's in his hands. God, this is hands. God, this is crazy. I drew my hands. God, this is crazy. I drew my fingers through his hair. Yes, it is crazy.
Crazy like a fox.
Come with me. He let me.
We don't have
left feet.
we don't have that.
I laughed him. I laughed. I took into the kitchen. I took out one of the kitchen. I took the top of paper. He looked.
What are you doing? What are you doing? I need.
Chuckling. I drew a side. And wrote down the middle. And wrote. Chuckling. I turned it over. I drew a line down. Turned it over to the chuckling middle. And wrote pride.
Need that.
Chuckling. I turned and wrote pro on the other.
What are you doing?
Jaden asked. Making you a list. Kisses. Magic dick. What else did him? What else was there? What else was there? I looked at him. What else was there? We were keeping off the list, yes? He rolled his eye. List, yes? He rolled his eye. Fuck the pen. Fuck it. Pen.
That wasn't acting.
He took the pen.
Construction sounds.
Pen.
Well, on the
With a laugh, he took the pen.
Well, on the pro side, I could write, but then on the con side, be cute. But then on the con town,
Then he chewed his lip.
then they're kind of great. They're kind of great. A family, they're kind of great. Parents, I think I did this again as well. Then like it's a whole parents, then
Lip.
Then there's your family. They're kind of great. Parents,
Kids when I prepare. Kids when laugh.
oh no, they go on the pro side.
Then he actually wrote pro side. So what goes on the family on the pro side? Side. Jaden sighed.
To do with you? Oh, nothing. Yet. Off eventually, and I can add them.
So I'll left towel
And I can add them.
So I'll come down to the kitchen and I will know left towel on floor on the con side and I will know I fucked up. His eye on the con side and I will know I fucked up. His eyes lit up.
That's a great.
I fucked up. His eyes lit up.
That's a great.
Then
You don't because that's do you? Because that's do you? Because that's gross. Do you? Because that's gross.
I laughed. Do not.
I just
Not.
He mumbled.
He mumbled. Then wrote two things. Work. To live.
I'll need some more and my own place. No. And my own place.
You can stay here, I said, brushing his back from his forehead. In your own room down at the end of the hall. I leaned every night, whispered. Every night, whispered. Every night. All night. Night. He let out every night. All night.
Let's give that a little bit more.
Every night. All night. He let out a shaky breath.
It's coercion or something.
He pushed me. Magic dick. I already wrote.
It deserves
Wrote that.
It deserves to be on there twice.
I laughed and turned to
Twice.
I laughed and wrote the heading on his clipboard and wrote the heading My Christmas at the top.
Oh, this should be good,
he joked. I held it up, he joked. I held it up to my chest, rages.
Come on,
he said. I put the clipboard down. I put the clipboard. I could read it. It just had right in the middle. Stay. He laughed and I thought you were a shove. I thought you were writing a whole list. I shook my head. That's all I want. He sighed. Head. God. Okay. Stay. You will? He nodded. And I picked him, and I nodded. And I groaned. He whined. Okay, here's the puking pot. He whined. I sat him on the counter and, oh, here's, he whined. Okay, owned. Oh, here's, he whined. I pulled him in close. Yes. Still scared? I asked him. He grinned. Fied. Same beer. He held my face. Alright, that was the last long chapter, and there's one final epilogue. I remember now why I don't like to do all the editing in one go. That shit is taxing and mind-numbing. Especially when you're skipping lunch. Like a doofus. But I am gonna get this done. Final chapter. Let's just do this. Number 17. So remember, it's only 15 minutes long or something. Damn it. Okay. Hello. 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 Choo choo. Yes. 1, 2. This is where the OCD kicks in. Okay. Bada bing. It's all good. Okay. Let's finish it. Let's do this. Home stretch. 17 minutes. Should be done in 10. Let's go for 10. Okay, what did I do? Epilogue. Jaden. What? Jaden. Cass wasn't lying. Cass what? Jaden. Cass wasn't lying when he Jaden. Springtime. The field in the springtime. The fields of springtime. The fields of green. The impress pond. And of course that reminded us itself. It reminded me of the mountaintop that Julie. It reminded me of the mountain. It reminded me of Dick. I recorded this morning. It was a little bit. Took me a while to wake up. But spectacular. But it was spectacular season. Just when you'd think the prettiest it could get, the colors. I'd been here for 15 months. I'd been here 15 different colors. I'd been here for 15 months. I needn't. Carl did call the day after Chris about work. Carl, of course, his knee mended. Of course, it was perfect timing. It was, as I said yes. It was like timing, like fate. Something. Or something. But at the end of those two for me, 3 days a week, just Monday through Wednesday. His knee wasn't next winter, and all the next winter, and it was winter, and it was time for him to start slowing up a little. The early mornings did his old body no. The early, he'd said, up a little. The early mornings did his anymore, he'd said. And the 3 days a week, quickly. Cass still did his design work on those days. Cass still did his, and it gave quiet. And it gave us weekend, peace and quiet. And it gave us weekends to work at Arabella. Me having outside work not only brought in some money, but time throughout the calendar. We'd held weekends for Valentine's, spring week, getaways, Thanksgiving. We'd learned a lot over Thanksgiving. We'd learned a lot over the year. Cass's business was doing better than aimed. But this was our first wedding. The house looked like wedding. The house looked like something out of one of the the house looked like some wedding. The house looked like something out of one of the wedding magazines Cass had worked on. It hadn't worked on. It hadn't helped at all that Bridezilla and when I say that Zilla, I say that with, and when I say brides, and when I say absolute perfection, and when I say bride, Hamish, yes, Bridezilla, Hamish, Willa, yes, yes, Hamish was Bridezilla, friends, yes, Hamish was Bridezilla. He wasn't horrible and wanted perfect day, everything to be perfect, and wanted everything to be panicky, and wanted everything, and of course, because charge. And we'd had almost time for this. Hamish was visiting one day last. Hamish was visiting one day last spring, and I'd prettiest, and I'd shown him and how we could clear out the we'd have around the windows. We'd have round tables with and a menu to die for. And that was exactly what we'd done. Kendra and Trey Kendra came to help. Kendra and tables inside. Kendra had become a which it wasn't, which the wives thing, which it wasn't at all. Trey had wary of Trey had been a bit wary of Cass. Trey had been a bit wary at first, wary of Cass and I being together, being gay, but very bluntly that he appreciated. But very early on, Cass had told him very early on, if he intended kids, but if he had to deal with some kind of kid's life. He had to deal with the gay ex-husband, and there'd been some kind of mutual after that. Anyway, Trey Hammer change after that. Anyway, and some food last summer, and some fencing thing too, and now with the wedding tables. We were kind of a dysfunctional family, but it worked. The kids were thriving, happy at school with us. Life was pretty damn great. But I'd planned it great. But the wedding, I'd planned a menu great. But the wedding, I'd planned a menu of beef or salmon for starter, beef or get right. I have right. So of course, I had a single thing. Cass ran his finger down the list, Cass ran his finger down the list. What do you think? Cass ran his finger. What do you need me? Oh man, the clipboard. What do you need me to do? Cass asked. Stay out. He laughed. Noted. But we'd done this enough times to know what to do. And to do. He kept, and we worked well together. I didn't even mind that I had to work throughout the ceremony. Happy. Hamish's niece and nephew from Musley. Hamish's niece so happy. Hamish's niece and ever imagine. The whole day, and I was for them, and I was that for them. I left the whole day fairy tale for them, and I was proud to have done that for them. I left the Clade couple. The wedding was a small affair, very intimate, very magical. Cass had pulled me out to the dance. It was the perfect day. Full day. As the night went on, and Hamish and Ren escaped to their room, Cass and I began the cleanup. Every room, so I wanted to was booked. So staff room was booked. So I wanted to get a head start on breakfast. Cass brought some empty bottles of wine out of my neck. We did it. Neck. We did it. We sure did. Did it. We sure did. I'll sleep. Did. I'll sleep well. I'll sleep well over. Sure did. I'll sleep well tonight. Sure did. I'll sleep. That's all over. He'd been so worried. Now I need to start playing. And my parents. And this month. And too, don't forget. My parents. But were very keen to meet Cat. And they'd be staying. And they'd be raved about. And I couldn't wait to see them. For 2 weeks in April. I couldn't wait to see them. I haven't forgotten to see them. I haven't forgotten. Cass sighed and kissed the back of my head. What you doing? Just getting a head start on breakfast in the morning. He chuckled at sound. I kept, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing, Butts. And that's a good baby. Yes, it is. The wedding squeeze. The wedding was, wasn't it? So beautiful. I didn't expect, Cass said. Hamish. I laughed. I was ruining. I coughed. Laughed. Sweetie, there was no way for a few tears. Cass laughed. He was holding a clipboard with it to it. Is this for tomorrow? I nodded. Most of it's clean first thing Monday morning. Yeah, no worry, care of that. Oh, and don't forget 4 adult weekend. 4 kids. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. He joked. I need to put an order in at the market, Dana. Then I started to measure. I could set the timer to have fresh breakfast. Cass pushed the list. Anything else that needs to be done tonight? I took a quick tonight. I wiped. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Oh, do you want to check and do tomorrow? Ground coffee? Cass didn't move or answer. Sure about the list? Stuff? I put the lid on the flour. No, it all looks good. Then I noticed Cass's say very bottom. Say yes to Cass. Say yes to Cass. Say yes. Well, what am I saying? Unless it involves. I asked. Unless it involves hot. I asked. Unless it involves hot. He laughed. I have the energy for tonight. I'm not sure what else tonight. He laughed. He turned me to face him. Marry me. Face him. Marry me. Face him. What? Me. What? 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 Day with you. What? I want today with you, Jaden. I want for you. Cass. He pulled the list around. You have to check. It's on the list. You have to check it off. My heart was hammering. My mind was spinning in circles. Circles. My chest was full of phlegm. In circles. All I could do was laugh. Is that right? Circles. All I could do. Is that right? Is that right? Is that was laugh? Is that right? He nodded. Or you right? He nodded. Or you can make. I leaned. You want? I leaned in. You want? I leaned in. Want? Fuck me. I leaned in, sliding my arms around his lower back. And if you want. I leaned in, sliding my arms around his lower back. I don't need to do that. Back. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. One word back. I don't need to do that. My wish list. My wish list. I need to do that. My wish list only has one. And what's that? I need to do that. My wish list only has one now. He kissed me. And what's that? And what's that? You. You have me. You have me. Forever. If you say forever. If you say forever. If you say yes. Yes. I didn't need any answer. Yes. The end. End. Okay. Now the end, strangely, has to be its own file. Yes. Titled Closing Credits. So let's do that. Get these pause blocks. New. I'm going to put it there, and I will also put it here. Get rid of this guy. Let's do this first. The end. What's it called? Outro? No, closing credits. That's how you edit an audiobook. So that was, at times, excruciating with the amount of errors I made, especially this morning. Usually it's a lot faster. But when it's creative stuff like this, when you're reading a story, timing is so important. It's not as important for an explainer video or something that the client's just going to edit on their end so that it matches with whatever's happening on the screen with their animation. So with an audiobook, timing is really important. So yeah, here they are. So I've got to start rendering from chapter 14. I wish I could bulk render. You can't do that in Ableton. You can't just load up a bunch of projects and say render them all. But this is okay. This is okay. Let's ungroup those. Just double check everything's alright. Yes, this is good. It's good. All right. Oh boy, time for a big stretch. It's 3:10. Eat some late lunch. I think later on today I'm gonna either write some lyrics or keep working on these demos for the new album, and maybe I'll stream that later. Or play some Call of Duty or Disco Elysium, I don't know. But I've done my work for the day. Bye.